Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about a comment I saw someone post that just made me stop and go, wow. The person said, you know, Jason, I know you're against pre-workouts. You think they're worthless. You think they're a waste of money. You think they're a rip-off. In fact, you say they're even potentially dangerous and addictive. But don't they help with consistency? And you say consistency is everything. What if they help you be consistent and get to the gym even when you're tired? So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. I mean, I know people who make the same sort of excuse for why they do cocaine. Do you see the problem with this chain of logic here? You can't do the things that you know you need to do to be consistent, which is get to the gym, and therefore you need to put a drug into your body to help you be consistent. You know, there comes a point where I'm going to set aside the actual addict mindset involved there. And let's discuss really just the fact of people just being willfully ripped off. At a certain point, I'm starting to think when I see the excuses people make for supplements in the supplement industry, like all the people who buy into this stuff, I really and truly think people want to be ripped off. I mean, I really have to believe that at a certain point, because there's a lot of us who are telling people and saying, look, almost all supplements are a waste of money. They're all a ripoff. It's all a scam. This entire industry is garbage. And there comes a certain point where you got to look at some of these companies and say, okay, well, maybe they might produce a product that's useless, but they produce a bunch of stuff that's a scam. I'm going to take my money elsewhere. Right there is a threshold where you should almost say, you know, these are just bad people. I don't want to support companies that are ripping people off knowingly. But then it's this whole idea that people have, they're told this. They know this. There's enough of us saying this now that, hey, guys, none of this stuff really works. It's all a ripoff. It's not going to help you. The people are like, yeah, but what if it helps me be consistent? You know, when people start saying that sort of stuff, it makes me wonder if people really and truly do not want to be ripped off, like they enjoy it. There's this bizarre masochistic tendency inside this whole community in the fitness and lifting world, I guess, to where it's got to be suffering and punishment, and I guess being ripped off is part of that. You know, it's like, man, they can just screw me over and take my money. And, you know, if they do that, then maybe I will have suffered enough to get my results or my fat loss or my gains. And, you know, and it's this whole mindset that people always have this thing that it's about suffering in some way. And I think that leads into that. The truth is, training and fitness and everything shouldn't be about suffering. It should be about enhancing the quality of your life. It really should. And that's one of the reasons I promote really efficient training for most people. And I tell people, look, get in and do the things you know are going to work. Moderately heavy to heavyweight, big compound movements. Get your lifting done. Get your target numbers. Get out of the gym. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be getting DOMs. Like, in fact, you're training, you should be looking at saying, okay, can I maximize my quality of life? Can I maximize my quality of life? And that means, can I gain the same amount of muscle, lose the same amount of fat, get all these results with less soreness? Well, if we should, then we should be doing that. And that's why I tell people stuff like getting needless DOMs for no benefit is stupid. It's silly. It's reducing quality of life. But it feeds into that whole mentality of suffering. And I got to wonder sometimes if people don't buy into the supplement industry because it's like, well, maybe if I just spend enough of my hard-earned money, I will deserve the results. And I do wonder if that isn't part of the mentality that people have, because I don't think any reasonable person at this point listens to what I or anyone else says about this stuff being ripoffs. I mean, I understand that my enemies and people who are financially tied to this industry have tried to brand me a liar. That's been the big campaign they've always tried to do, brand me a liar, make me a liar, all the while, you know, I sit here calling out this industry who are literally stealing money from people. They're committing fraud and taking people's money. And I've been the biggest voice against that on this community for a long time. Kind of interesting, though, that I'm the one they want to paint as a liar. Yeah, because they need that. You know, there's a lot of money tied up in this whole supplement game. That is what it is, guys. It's fraud. But there are those of us saying, at least anyone who might say, okay, I think he might be a liar. This guy's a terrible person, but maybe, just maybe he's right. Because anyone who's listened to me knows that I've said this stuff enough times. At least make them say, okay, he at least is raising the point. Maybe I should at least second think this, right? Even if this guy's wrong, even if this guy's a complete idiot, and he's a moron, and he's a big, evil, pathological liar, I should at least accept the possibility that he might be right. Just analyze this for my own good. I think any reasonable person at that point has done this. And yet they keep coming back to this. But what if it just helps me be consistent? Being ripped off helps you be consistent? Being ripped off helps you be consistent. You want to know what I think should help you be consistent? Just getting into the habit. But that's the problem you have, though. It's that it doesn't help you get consistent, does it? Because we know it takes about 3 weeks for any habit to set in, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit. All you're doing with a pre-workout is creating a bad habit. You're creating a dependency. All right? You're creating a habit that I have to have this in my system to train. Instead of creating the habit that I'm going to go to the gym and train and get my normal workout done within my ability, even if I'm tired, even if I'm fatigued, even if I'm not having particularly good day. All right? They always say that stuff. People throw that back at me. Well, you only do X amount of work. You're a full-time YouTuber. You don't have a full-time job. Guys, I've worked a 60-hour week while still getting to the gym 5 days a week before. I've done all that. So those excuses don't work. They don't work on me. You can't look at someone's current circumstance and say, well, they don't know anything about my circumstance because of their current circumstance without looking at their own past and realizing, maybe they do have experience with that. I do. And pre-workouts aren't necessary. They're not even helpful. Again, there's just an addict mentality. All that's doing is making you an addict. That's all it's doing. That is a junkie mentality. A junkie ward, right? Is that really what you want to be? Someone who says, oh man, if I don't have my pre-workout now, I can't train. No, you learn to go in and just train even when you're tired. Well, God forbid, let's look at it this way. If you're so tired that you can't get in and do your normal training session, it might be time to reassess your training programming compared to your lifestyle. Maybe your training programming isn't ideal for your lifestyle. Maybe you're trying to follow a training program specifically for people in my situation, right? YouTube is my full-time gig. I make a substantial living doing this. But I still have a life, and I still have stressors, believe me, guys. Believe me, I've got stressors. But the point is, maybe you do have an active life. So maybe you should look at different programs. I write programs based on that. I have more than one novice program, and I specifically state that's because not everyone's lifestyle is perfect. I have one novice program for people with a perfect lifestyle, perfect recovery, sleep, diet, right? And I have another for people with a less perfect lifestyle. Now, if you honestly are stupid enough to run one thinking you have a perfect lifestyle when you work a 60-hour-a-week job, I've got to question your logic. Well, maybe not so much logic as lack of experience. And then you come to understand when you fail on a program like that, you understand why people put out multiple programs. Not because it's what's best for everyone necessarily genetically, it's what's best for your lifestyle. I do have less intense programs for people who don't have limitless recovery and sleep and who have a 60-hour-a-week job and kids and stuff like that, right? You can't run the same program that a college student can run who doesn't have a job or kids or anything. You can't run the same program they do. Not if they're running an ideal program for their situation, but that's kind of the point. You don't need that product. You need to learn to just either write a better program or just consistently go and do what you're capable of doing, right? That's what you need to do. Because what does this product do? It creates a dependence. And how many people out there do we know who rely on pre-workout so much that if they don't have their pre-workout, they can't get a good workout, they can't train. So if that's the case, it hasn't helped them at all. It's hurt their consistency. They are now required to, for the rest of their life, spend money on an overpriced, expensive-ass product that has side effects for them to even be able to train. I'm sorry, that's not consistency, that's addiction. That's addiction. Now, people say, well, Jason, you use TRT. Well, it's a little bit different, but that's still a situation, though, isn't it? Isn't it? The difference is medical need for these things is totally different than creating an artificial psychological dependence upon a substance, isn't it? A little bit different. I mean, people have dependence upon products that they need for various medical reasons. A diabetic needs their diabetic meds. All right, someone with high blood pressure needs their high blood pressure meds. Someone with low testosterone benefit from taking their testosterone. But that's not quite the same thing as creating a psychological dependence. And that's what these products do. They're not improving your consistency. They're ripping you off and making you an addict. Because now you're in the habit of only training on a pre-workout. Well, what happens when you do that? Or every time you get tired. See, that's kind of like the gateway, isn't it? I only take the pre-workout when I'm really tired. Right? I think what people find who do that in 6 months, you start getting tired a lot more often, don't you? It goes from just once a month, I'm just too tired once a month or once every 2 weeks, to man, I got to work out every week or I'm a little too tired. For long, it's 2 workouts a week. I'm feeling really tired. I need this pick me up. Just a little bump, you know? A little pop, keep you on top. Right? It's exactly what it is. Creates a dependence. Creates a dependence. So again, I think people like being ripped off, and that's exactly what this is. That's the sort of logic that people will use to sell you these products initially, get you hooked. They're just like a drug pusher. They really are. These supplement pimps are like drug pushers. Exactly what it is. It's no different. Not any different. And people like to make the exact same excuses a drug addict does. It's the exact same excuses. Because they are. They're supplement addicts. That's what they are. Call it what it is. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.